Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Taylor Hayes sat alone in her dimly lit office, the warm glow from the desk lamp spreading long shadows across the room. It was late, much later than she typically stayed, but she hadn't slept in weeks. Her world had seemed off kilter since Ridge selected Brooke again. She was a world-renowned psychiatrist, a mother, and a lady who had rebuilt her life numerous times, but again she was nursing the same old grief. The agony was familiar, almost soothing in its predictability, yet tonight it felt heavier and sharper. Her phone buzzed on the desk, interrupting her thoughts. Taylor gazed at the text message from Deacon Sharp. "Can't stop thinking about our last talk. Can we meet? Need to see you." Her pulse skipped a beat. Deacon had been coming to her for therapy sessions since his fallout with Sheila over the Luna situation. It began as a professional endeavor, assisting him in navigating betrayal, falsehoods, and a troubled marriage. But sometime along the process, the lines were blurred. His black eyes revealed an unexpected warmth, a raw honesty that ripped through her shields. He listened when she spoke, and when he confessed his own flaws, she felt seen in a way that Ridge never did. She hurriedly typed back, "Come to the office." The doors unlocked. There was a light knock, and Deacon went in, closing the door behind him with a quiet click. He appeared untidy, with his typically sharp clothing rumpled, as if he'd been pacing Il Giardino all evening. "Taylor," he said, his voice low and hoarse. "Thanks for seeing me this late." She stood, adjusting her blouse and attempting to preserve some appearance of professionalism. "Deacon, what's going on?" "You sounded urgent." He took a step closer, running his hand through his hair. "It's Sheila. Things are off. After the wedding, Hope and Liam's big day, she's been acting strange. Distant one minute, clingy the next. And I keep thinking about what you said, about whether she's really changed, or if I'm just fooling myself again." Taylor nodded, gesturing to the couch where they usually sat for sessions. But neither of them approached it tonight. "We've talked about this. Sheila has made progress, but old patterns die hard. Especially with the family dynamics, being excluded from the wedding hit her hard." Deacon's gaze was fixed on hers. "Yeah, but it's more than that. I appreciate you helping us and even saving our marriage, but lately when I'm with her, my mind wanders. To you." The words lingered in the air, heated and dangerous. Taylor's breath caught. She should stop this, remind him of boundaries and ethics. But her loneliness finally won out. "Deacon, we can't." "I know," he interrupted, leaning in closer. "I know it's wrong. You're my therapist. I'm married. But Taylor, you get me. The real me, not the reformed bad boy or the guy who married a psychopath. And I see you, the strong, beautiful woman who's been hurt too many times. You deserve better than waiting around for Ridge." His hand reached out and brushed a single hair across her face. The touch was electrifying, causing a shudder down her spine. She did not draw away. Instead, she leaned in and closed her eyes as their lips met in a tentative kiss. It was gentle at first, exploratory, but soon deepened with the pent-up tension that had been building for months. Taylor melted into Deacon's embrace as his arms curled around her waist, pulling her closer to him. All the anguish, rejection, and years of putting others first faded away in that moment. His kiss was eager and passionate, in sharp contrast to Ridge's refined reserve. Deacon kissed like a man with nothing to lose, as if he were seizing something valuable he had waited far too long for. They lurched toward the couch, hands roaming and clothes disheveled. Taylor's head raced with warnings. This is a mistake. This could wreck everything. But her body betrayed her, reacting to his touch with a fire she hadn't felt in years. Deacon muttered her name against her neck, his breath hot on her skin, and trailed kisses down her collarbone. "Taylor," he said softly, pushing back just enough to look into her eyes. "Tell me to stop if this isn't what you want." But she didn't. Instead, she drew him close, her fingers running into his hair. "I don't want you to stop." The night passed in a whirl of desire, with the office morphing into their personal world. Clothes slid away, and boundaries collapsed. Deacon was attentive and intense, making her feel desired in a way that healed past wounds while introducing new risks. They moved together with an eagerness born of forbidden passion, probing each other with murmurs and gasps until they lost themselves entirely. Hours later, as they lay intertwined on the couch, reality began to set in. Taylor glanced at the ceiling, resting her head on Deacon's chest and listening to his sluggish heartbeat. What did they do? This wasn't just a fling. It felt deeper and more significant. However, he was married to Sheila, a woman capable of unspeakable brutality. And Taylor was his therapist. Crossing this boundary may jeopardize her employment. Deacon's fingertips drew lazy patterns across her back. This changes everything, doesn't it? She gave a slow nod. Yes, it does. The next morning was filled with both regret and exhilaration. Taylor washed at home, cleaning away the night's evidence, but not erasing the memories. Her phone buzzed continually, with texts from Steffi checking in and a reminder about a patient visit. One text, however, stuck out. Deacon's. Last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. We need to talk. She didn't answer right away, her mind racing. Part of her wanted to end it and pretend it never happened. But another part, the part that felt alive for the first time in ages, wanted more. Deacon was preoccupied at Il Giardino, yelling commands at the crew as his thoughts wandered back to Taylor. Naturally, Sheila took note. She never failed to notice. You seem different today, Sheila commented, slipping into the booth across from him during a pause. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Is everything okay with your sessions? Deacon asked, forcing a smile. Yeah, just a lot on my mind. The restaurant, Hope's wedding aftermath. Sheila stretched for his hand. I'm glad you're still seeing Taylor. She's been good for us. The guilt washed over him like a wave. Yeah, she has. But inside, skepticism lingered. Was Sheila truly the woman he desired forever? Or had Taylor taught him what true connection felt like? Taylor's day dragged on with patience, but her concentration slipped. By the evening, she was unable to resist. She texted Deacon. Meet me tonight? Same place. He arrived quickly, the tension evident as soon as he stepped in. There were no words at first. Only another kiss, this time more desperate than the last. They did not make it to the couch this time. Passion drove them against the door. Taylor expressed her concern as they lay in each other's arms again. Deacon, what are we doing? This can't continue like this. Sheila, if she finds out. He lifted himself on an elbow and looked down at her. I know. But I don't want to stop. Taylor, last night, and tonight it felt right. More right than anything in a long time. She looked at his jawline. For me, too. But my life. Steffi Ridge, my practice. And you, your family, the restaurant. Sheila won't let go easily. The mention of Sheila brought them to their senses. Deacon sighed. I've been questioning everything since the Luna lies. Maybe it's time I faced that my marriage isn't what I thought. Taylor's heart was racing. Was he expressing what she thought? You'd leave her? For this? He kissed her on the forehead. For you. Yeah, I think I would. The following weeks were filled with stolen moments. Secret meetings in her office after hours, late-night trips to secluded spots overlooking the city, even a perilous weekend away disguised as a therapy retreat. Each encounter strengthened their closeness, with conversations ranging from passionate reunions to poignant confessions. Taylor discussed her long-time rivalry with Brooke, the sorrow of Ridge's indecision, and how she had always felt second best. Deacon discussed his past mistakes, redemption narrative, and the concern that he would never really leave his past. They gained mutual understanding and acceptance. However, the secrecy took its toll. Steffi noted her mother's radiance and attributed it to moving on from Dad. Hope remarked on Deacon's improved mood and joked that treatment was doing wonders. Sheila, however, became skeptical. Deacon's late nights and inattentive manner reminded her of previous betrayals. One evening, Sheila followed him. Her blood ran hot as she watched him enter Taylor's office building late at night. That bitch, she mumbled. Threats and violence came flooding back. But she refrained for the time being. Inside, Taylor and Deacon were once again immersed in each other. This night was different, slower and more delicate. As they lie exhausted, Deacon muttered, "I told Sheila I needed space. I'm filing for divorce." Taylor's eyes widen. "Are you sure?" "Never been more sure." "Taylor, I love you." The words hung there, profound. Tears filled her eyes. "I love you too, Deacon." But the happiness was fleeting. The next day, Sheila addressed Taylor in her office. "I know about you and my husband," she screamed, her eyes wide. Taylor remained cool and professional. "Sheila, whatever you think, don't lie. He's leaving me for you." Security led Sheila away, but the damage had been done. Threats followed, anonymous calls, shadowy figures. Deacon moved out, first sleeping in a hotel, and then temporarily with Taylor. The controversy spread throughout Los Angeles. Steffi was stunned. "Mom, Deacon Sharp? The man married to Sheila?" Ridge was jealous and hostile. Hope was conflicted. She was thrilled for her father, but concerned about the turmoil. Throughout it all, Taylor and Deacon grew stronger. Il Giardino currently offers public dates together. Taylor's life had altered forever. That first night sparked an unexpected love, one that tested everything but felt unquestionably right. Sheila's volatility, familial disapproval, and professional ramifications are all obstacles ahead. But for the first time, Taylor wasn't waiting for someone else to pick her. She'd chosen herself and Deacon. Their relationship developed over the course of several months. Engaged by spring, they married in a simple ceremony in front of their supportive family. Taylor's practice thrived with new boundaries, while Deacon's restaurant grew. That one night with Deacon had not only changed her life, but created a new one full of passion, partnership, and peace. The night begins calmly, almost pleasantly, with a serenity that falls over Los Angeles after a long day. Taylor Hayes does not expect anything significant to occur. She tells herself it's just another evening, another chat, another attempt to make sense of the emotions she's been carefully suppressing with reason and constraint. However, even as she moves near Deacon Sharp, there is an underlying sense that something is odd. Not harmful or illegal in the conventional sense, but laden with the emotional weight that only unresolved history and unforeseen connections can bring. Taylor has spent most of her life studying emotions, comprehending trauma, and assisting others in navigating the turbulence of their inner worlds. She is proud of her insight, discipline, and ability to take a step back when emotions threaten to overcome reasoning. However, when it comes to her own heart, she has tragically discovered that knowledge does not always provide immunity. Deacon is not someone she expected to play an important role in her life, let alone become a catalyst for transformation. And yet, here they are, seated across from each other, linked by an odd combination of honesty, vulnerability, and time. Deacon, for his part, remains uncharacteristically quiet. He has always been a man of grand gestures, daring decisions, and a proclivity to take risks without thinking. Tonight, however, Taylor notices a seriousness in his gaze that she has not seen before. He is not attempting to captivate her, nor is he deflecting with humor or confidence. Instead, he truly listens, and that alone disturbs her more than any flirtation could. It appears that they have both arrived at the same crossroads via quite different journeys, both carrying the weight of past misdeeds and the cautious hope of redemption. Their chat starts innocently enough, discussing family, the usual chaos of their common social circle, and the complex web of relationships that characterize their existence. But, almost imperceptibly, the conversation shifts. The words become more personal, thoughtful. Taylor discusses the stress of constantly being the strong one, the collected one, and the person others rely on. She admits, perhaps more openly than ever before, how difficult it may be to always put others first, to ignore her own needs in order to maintain stability. Deacon answers with understanding, rather than advice or cliches. He discusses his regrets, how he has damaged people he cares about, and the difficult journey to forgiveness for himself. There is no attempt to justify his history, no self-pity, just an honest recognition of who he has been and who he wishes to be. Taylor feels moved by his earnestness. She has heard confessions many times in her professional life, but this feels different. This is not a patient seeking absolution. It is a man holding firm in his beliefs. As the night progresses, the space between them appears to shrink, not physically, but emotionally. The way they communicate to each other conveys a sense of safety, a mutual respect that allows for both stillness and discourse. Taylor becomes immediately aware of how unusual this sensation is for her. She is accustomed to being adored, desired, and even idolized, but she rarely feels fully understood. Deacon has no pedestal and no expectations. He sees her as a woman, flawed, thoughtful, and searching, which is both comfortable and disturbing. She understands the ramifications of what she is feeling. Deacon is not a simple or safe decision in the eyes of their community. His history is convoluted, and his reputation is tarnished. Aligning herself with him would raise eyebrows, invite criticism, and possibly reignite old scars. Taylor has spent years attempting to create a life marked by stability and integrity. One mistake could derail that carefully crafted image. Nonetheless, the pull she feels is clear, rooted not in irresponsibility, but in a profound, resonating connection she cannot deny. Deacon, noting her uncertainty, does not press. Instead, he tells a narrative from his history that demonstrates the consequences of avoiding actual connection out of fear. He speaks of squandered opportunities, of times when he chose the easy way over the honest one. His voice reflects both regret and resolve. He does not wish to repeat his mistakes. He does not want to abandon something meaningful merely because it is complex. Taylor listens with her heart hammering, recognizing that his words reflect her own internal conflict. The discourse eventually comes to a halt, and the resulting stillness is dense with significance. They gaze at each other, and there is a shared understanding that this night marks a turning point. Nothing specific has to be stated. They are both aware that whatever happens next will have ramifications, and that there is no going back to ignorance once the line is crossed. Taylor experiences a flash of understanding, realizing that life cannot be lived solely in the world of prudence. She understands that embracing uncertainty rather than rejecting it is frequently the key to growth. When Deacon reaches for her hand, his action is soft and almost tentative. He offers her time and space to leave if she wants. Taylor examines his face, looking for signs of manipulation or insincerity, but discovers none. Instead, she sees vulnerability, optimism, and a quiet appreciation for her independence. She takes a deep breath and allows herself to accept the moment for what it is, not a reckless dive, but a deliberate choice. The relationship that develops between them is primarily emotional. It is based on mutual understanding and the recognition of each other's wounds and strengths. Taylor feels a shift within her, a relaxation of the tight expectations she has set for herself. For the first time in a long time, she lets herself to simply feel without thinking or projecting the consequence. The feeling is liberating, nearly overwhelming in its simplicity. As the night progresses, Taylor realizes that this is about more than simply Deacon. It is about her personal transformation. Being with him compels her to confront aspects of herself she has kept hidden, her want to be chosen for who she is, not what she symbolizes, her hunger for pleasure without limitations, and her need to transition from the role of caretaker to one of equal partnership. Deacon, in his own way, invites her to consider that option, rather than making a guarantee. When they ultimately parted ways, the air between them was heavy with unspoken promises and unsolved questions. Taylor leaves with a sense of inevitability, knowing that she will not be able to return to her previous life unchanged. The night had left her with a sense of attentiveness rather than sorrow. She now realizes that denying herself meaningful connections in the name of decorum has been its own form of self-betrayal. Whatever problems lay ahead, she understands she has crossed a threshold. In the days that follow, Taylor finds herself revisiting the night in her head. Small things linger. The tone of Deacon's voice, the sincerity in his eyes, the way he allowed her emotions to flow without attempting to control them. She detects minor yet major changes in herself. She is more thoughtful and willing to challenge long-held notions. Her interactions with others feel different, as if she is functioning from a deeper level of genuineness. The encounter has also had an impact on Deacon. He tackles his life with a newfound purpose, determined not to slide back into old habits. The connection with Taylor has reminded him of the man he aspires to be, not only for her, but for himself. He understands that winning her trust will need consistency and patience, and he is ready for the challenge. For once, he is looking for something long-lasting and genuine, rather than excitement or affirmation. Their paths continue to cross, and each encounter bears the imprint of that transformative night. There is no urgency to define what they are, and no need to call the relationship. Instead, there is a shared dedication to honesty and development. Taylor realizes that true love is not about perfection or acceptance, but about mutual respect and the willingness to grow together. The consequences of that night go beyond the two of them, quietly changing the dynamics of the world around them. Taylor's increased openness encourages others to address their own prejudices and preconceived notions. Deacon's slow approach toward repentance changes the way he is seen, not by spectacular announcements, but through constant deeds. Together, they represent the possibility of change, even for people who believe they are stuck in their ways. Finally, Taylor realizes that her life has been forever changed, not by a single decision, but by allowing herself to listen to her heart without judgment. The night with Deacon was not the conclusion, but rather the beginning, a moment of awakening that redefined what she believes she deserves. Whatever the future contains, she moves forward with a sense of wholeness that she has long lacked, prepared to face whatever comes next with honesty, courage, and an open heart.